Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, good day, and welcome back here to the Texas World Speedway. Of course, we are streaming this on YouTube, so to everybody that is watching this over on the WRLA YouTube channel, welcome here to the Texas World Speedway, where today we are getting ready to set the 6-car roster, or at least determine the 6-car roster that will be getting ready to race in tonight's AAA Texas 400 for our 10th race of the season for the WRLA NOS Energy Cup Series. As always, I'm Elijah Leonard here with you, bringing you the action. Of course, later on tonight we'll be racing with the Cup Series. But in case if you missed the action, last night we had ourselves our double header with the Menards Truck Series at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Big congratulations to Jesse Turner on winning his first WRLA victory. Been a part of this league since 2020. Well, he was here in 2020, was absent for 23 and last year, but now back here for 2026 in the Truck Series. He finally got it done at Charlotte. And then following that, we had our Xfinity race here at Texas World Speedway just last night, following the Truck Series race. And it was Ray Atikian that scored his second win in a row. And you will see the full race replay if you haven't seen it yet. That will be coming out at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Truck Series replay will be coming out at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you can see how all the action unfolded last night. But here for today, we are going to be determining the top 6 drivers that will be racing in tonight's main event for WRLA festivities, and then afterwards we'll be setting the starting lineup for the AAA Texas 400. And another thing that we want to talk about is Roberto Crown Jr. Over at Indianapolis earlier today. Got the job done in the very famous Indianapolis 250. Want to congratulate him, and definitely congratulate our friends over on AG the channel for such a fantastic Indianapolis 250 weekend. Such great festivities that they always put on over there, and I was very fortunate to be a part of those as a driver. So definitely very big, great job for those guys over there. For this, as of right now, as we take a look at our scoreboard, Eric Blaze jumps to the top with a 35.336. Martin Nixon now jumps up with a 35.073. Now remember, it is the top 6 that make it on into tonight's show. So right now, it would be Liam Davis who jumps back up to the top with a 34.981, drafting with the 89 of Jordan Sumner and the 51 of Ryan Gundillo. Then Martin Nixon, Eric Blaze, Josiah Munsell, Ryan Gundillo, and Jordan Sumner. Those would be your 6 drivers. Well, not anymore, as now Cornish, now Oskin jumps up inside of the top 6. Cornish now on the outside looking in, as Munsell goes to the top of the board with a 34.820. But Sumner right now holding on to that final transfer spot to get into tonight's race. And let's see where she is. Actually, she is right here. Now it's Ryan Gundillo, or Cornish, now 5th. He's back inside of the top 6. Right now, that puts Jordan Sumner on the outside looking in. Now, if you haven't watched last night's Xfinity Series race, obviously over on Twitch, you'll see it tonight over here on the YouTube channel, the full race replay. But one thing I will mention, and Russell Blaze was here with me while we were calling the event, but what's funny and we're going to actually follow with Ryan Gundillo as this is happening. But the cars will come down pit road pretty normally, but watch the way that these drivers get into their pit box. They prepare at least 2 boxes ahead of time, and they just sort of, well, they kind of just, you know, very elegantly kind of just get into their pit box, turn into their pit box, if you will. Instead of the abrupt, hard left turn into their pit box, it's a very soft left turn into their pit box, and they do this at least 2 boxes before they get into their pit stall. Jordan Sumner and Kasumi Takashi last night had a little bit of an issue where Takashi managed to get into his pit box, but Jordan Sumner was right on the back bumper of the 39 machine and followed him all the way into his pit box. And Sumner, who was pitted just 2 boxes ahead of Takashi, pretty much just sat there for a solid 30 seconds before getting teleported into her pit stall. But that, unfortunately, was the thing that killed her race just last night. But Sumner now back inside of the top 5 for the 34.994. 5th quickest. We'll see if she's able to make this race. If she is able to make this race, we'll see if she can not repeat the same mistake that she made last night. So your top 6 as of right now. Session. Munsell still at the top with a 34.820. Eric Blaze with a 34.908. And then Ryan Gundillo with a 978 in 3rd. Then Liam Davis 4th with a 980. Jordan Sumner with a 994. And the fastest driver in the 35-second bracket, which is Joshua Cornish. He just got knocked out of the top 6, and that was at the hands of Nikki Fox, actually, with a 34.994, actually tying with Jordan Sumner. But that puts Sumner on the bubble spot as of right now. Now, Russell Blaze actually unveiled some pretty big news for 2027 that Death Rider Racing will be back next year. Walker Family Motorsports will be returning as well. But EGI will also be returning, and also on top of that, Joshua Cornish here in this number 8, who is taking back the driving responsibilities of this car, which originally for the last couple of weeks was driven by Lily Cassius. But he will be going back to full-time racing next year in the Cup Series, and I am very excited to see Joshua Cornish back behind the wheel of a Cup car full-time in 2027. Currently running full-time in the Menards Truck Series, and actually just got here from Charlotte last night, so right now he's 8th quickest, and as of right now, Michael DeFeo actually just knocked him out of that 7th spot. That 34.998. But still not enough to put him inside of the top 6 transfer interval, if you will, that transfer zone. Currently with the Davises of Michael and Liam Davis. Both drivers just got here from Charlotte. All 3 of these drivers actually came from Charlotte. From the truck race just last night. As Davis now works his way to the inside of DeFeo. Right now, Sumner is holding on by just 4 1/1000ths of a second with now 5 minutes to go. Davis still, Liam Davis that is, in the 12, still 3rd. Michael Davis is 10th quickest right now. And we take a look down towards the bottom. There's Martin Nixon in the 2. Samet Oskin in the 71. 35.087. Ray Atikian, who won last night in the Xfinity Series, not faring too well here in this Go or Go Homer session. A 35.192. And then Haley Kurz with a 35.832. But Atikian here is the man in the hour here at the Texas World Speedway. Remember last night he won his second consecutive race. And it's actually kind of wild to say that, because I mean we never saw anything like it in the Xfinity Series side. And then of course last week he made the Cup race at Iowa, so he had an opportunity to go back to back. Unfortunately came up just a few spots short, so he finished in the 7th or at least 6th position. He finished inside of the top 10. However, here for tonight, if he's not able to improve his time here within the next 3.5 minutes, he'll miss out on a chance at another chance of going back-to-back this weekend and sweeping the festivities here at Texas World. So if he wants an opportunity, a second chance at going back-to-back, he's going to have to pick it up here. But the problem is, it's just him and Samet Oskin, so it's just two cars that are just drafting off of one another. And that definitely is not good news there. Less than 3 minutes remaining here in this Go or Go Homer session. After this, all 42 Cup cars will be on track to begin their qualifying runs. It will be 3 rounds, where the fastest 24 will move on to round 2, and then the fastest 12 will move on to the final round. Then that format only occurs, or will only, pretty much is only enforced for tracks that are above 1 mile. And road course. Well, road courses are the exception, obviously, because it does take quite a bit of time to actually get around road courses. I mean, we had Brazil not too long ago, and I think so far that's been the only road course race that we've had. But there's Canadian Tire Motorsports Park that's going to be later on down the road, and that's going to be another home track for Nikki Fox in terms of countries. 90 seconds coming up. Top 6 has remained unchanged. Sumner is still hanging on by 4 1/1000ths of a second over Michael DeFeo. He is in this pack. So we're going to follow along with the 60 and see if he's going to be able to knock off the 89 of Sumner to get into the show here for tonight. He tried to cut to the inside of Nikki Fox there as she was trying to go by Liam Davis, but to no avail. But now following in the tire tracks of Fox, and it was not enough, but it was enough, however, for Michael Davis, a 34.986. That puts him up to 5th quickest, and now that puts Nikki Fox on the bubble and Sumner on the outside looking in. So we did see an improvement from this pack, but it did not come from Michael DeFeo as I thought it would have. But DeFeo, he still has a chance. 20 seconds remaining. Does not improve there. Probably going to have enough time for at least one more lap, as the time will readjust, or at least be added. Actually, yeah. 34 seconds have been added. So where these drivers have at least enough time to put down one more lap Let's see what happens here. Cross the stripe. Davis jumps up to third, and Michael DeFeo is in. A 34.976. Ryan Gundillo holds on to the final transfer spot, and it will be enough. So your top 6, ladies and gentlemen, that will be racing in tonight's AAA Texas 400 will be Josiah Munsell, Eric Blaze, Michael Davis, Liam Davis, Michael DeFeo, and Ryan Gundillo. All of those 6 drivers will be racing tonight. However, as for Nikki Fox, Jordan Sumner, Bruno Diacomo, Joshua Cornish, Martin Nixon, Haley Curris, Samet Oskin, and Ray Atikian, all of those drivers will unfortunately have to sit this race out, and they will have to get ready for Charlotte next week. But oh my, big congratulations to all of those competitors of Munsell, Blaze, the Davises, DeFeo, and Gundillo. They are in tonight's AAA Texas 400, and we're going to take ourselves a quick little break and get things ready to go for our qualifying sessions to start set the starting lineup for tonight's AAA Texas 400, our 10th race of the season for the WRLA NOS Energy Cup Series. Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back right after our nice little break. I don't even know, but our nice little break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. And welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen, to the Texas World Speedway. Now that we know our 42 car field for tonight. Hold on one second. I didn't even realize that there was something playing in the background. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, we're now getting ready to set the starting lineup for tonight's AAA Texas 400. First car out on the racetrack. That is the number 28 of Kyle Craven. And man, oh man, I really feel for this 28 team and Kyle Craven, because this season has just been absolutely abysmal. Coming off of what was a spectacular 2025 year for Craven in his rookie season, won the championship for All-American Motorsports and Trey Wright's team. Comes over here to Death Rider Racing. They get off to a good start, but however, they just have not been able to capitalize on the momentum of last year. finds himself just outside of the top 30 in the point standings now. And Craven is just, man, it's just been a very tough year so far for the 28 team. And we're very much so hoping that they can get back on track here at the Texas World Speedway. To start things off, Craven, top of the board with a 35.955 to start things off. Just ahead of him is Russell Blaze in the 29. He also raced last night in the truck race at Charlotte. Didn't really fare too well out there, but came over here to Texas World, called the Xfinity Series race with myself, and had ourselves a couple good laps, obviously with the pit road deals that took place right around lap 25. And my, oh my, we needed those laps, especially after the news that just came a couple of days ago, back on Thursday, of the tragic passing of Kyle Busch. We definitely needed some laughs to help take our minds off of the very, very somber and very tragic and sudden news. But now we turn our focus here to tonight, setting the starting lineup for our 10th race of the season here in the NOS Energy Cup Series. Blaze right now 5th quickest, now 3rd quickest with a 35.111. But Craven has been able to improve his time by a 34.740. Then you have Mercedes Davis. She also competed last night in the truck race. A 34.772 for her. And there's Claire Phillips in the number 5. She just came out onto the racetrack. Now, Phillips has been on a roll as of late. 2 top 10s so far. One at Talladega and the other that came just last weekend at Iowa. And she managed to pull herself outside of the top and like inside of the top 30. Right now she's 22nd in the point standings, I do believe. But Phillips has been able to turn it around, and so far, I mean, the momentum has definitely been shifting into her favors. We have a crash coming off of going into 3. I don't even know what just happened, but there was a lot of smoke that just popped up over in turn number 3. We'll take a look at that. That actually was Roberto Crown Jr., our Indianapolis 250 winner. Gondillo and Craven now trading positions. A 34.712 for the number 51 team of Ryan Gondillo. There's Nathan Stapleton here in the 97. Stapleton, as of right now, currently on 32nd right now. 32nd with a 35.354. Now is Emily Anderson, but that's going to continue to change here as we're closing down on 5 minutes to go here in round 1. Terry Walker currently on the outside looking in with his 35.124. Now it's Nathan Stapleton who massively improves, but not enough here. Now it's Abby Walker. Now it's Aaron Abel holding on to that final transfer spot with Bobby McGuire on the outside looking in. And there is the team, the hottest team in WRLA right now. This is Walker Family Motorsports. Wyatt Walker, the owner, Terry Walker, the driver, but also the father to Wyatt Walker, who owns the team. But they've been pretty hot. Back-to-back wins over in the Xfinity Series. And man, it's been one hot run so far for the team as a whole. Able to put the puzzle pieces together here for the Cup side. Obviously, Wyatt got a win at Fontana just a couple of months ago. Terry, Abby, they've been kind of struggling a little bit. Terry Walker's been hanging out inside of the top 5. He's been pretty consistent all year, sort of just carrying that momentum from last year into here, and it's definitely been working out pretty well for him. Definitely been working out pretty well for him. Still running inside of the top 5 in the point standings, doing a very nice job. CG has been kind of turning it around. Abby Walker has been struggling in this number 16. But, you know, another thing I'll say for tonight, I think it would be absolutely special if this scheme went to victory lane here tonight. Of course, for those that are brand new, this is the scheme that Kyle Busch drove to his very first championship in the year 2015 when he came back from a leg injury, sidelined for a third of the season, came back and won numerous amounts of races all across the Cup Series, the O'Reilly Series, then the Xfinity Series, and the then Camping World Truck Series, now known as Craftsman. But Abby Walker really, I think would really love to put this scheme into victory lane here tonight. Right now, she is currently 24th, holding on to that final transfer spot with a 34.964. Bonsu, you are currently on the outside looking in just by 3/1000ths of a second. Two and a half minutes to go. And my, oh my here, ladies and gentlemen. My, oh my. This is kind of interesting here. Gundilla at the right now is the quickest with a 34.680. That's the fastest that we've seen all day today so far in qualifying. Eric Blaze in the second position, then Kyle Craven, Mercedes Davis, Monaco, Russell Blaze. So 3 out of the 4 Death Rider racing cars inside of the top 10. And then you go all the way down to, I want to say, just outside of the top 30, actually. And that's where you'll find Stephen Walker at 34.998 for the FedEx machine. So if he's not able to improve his time here within the next 90 seconds, this is exactly where he'll be starting. And coming out onto the racetrack, that is Andrew Miller in the number 96. Last week's winner at the Iowa Speedway. Finally got his first NOS Energy Cup Series win for NS Racing. Also continuing the momentum for them as well. All 3 of Nathan Stapleton's cars have been inside of the top 10 except for Stapleton himself. But he has been improving. He's been getting inside of the top 20 in the point standings, or at least getting close to that point. But of course, it's going to be a little bit of a tough task at hand if Stapleton wants to go to victory lane here tonight. There's our points leader. Lost it for 1 week, but then at Iowa took it right back. That's Tanner Parton. He is starting, he would be in the 22nd position right now. He is in one of the transfer spots to move on into the second round here for tonight. Our second round of NOS Energy Cup qualifying so far. Again, 22nd. He managed, and it's still impressive to me of how consistent he has been all year so far. That being Tanner Parton. He did win at Las Vegas. That ultimately was what got him the points lead, and he just kept following it up with consistent finishes. But the month of May has not been too kind to him. Of course, didn't get a good start at Ricky. Talladega didn't treat him too well. Pulled it back together at Iowa. And now managed to grab the points lead right back from Russell Blaze. And so far, 22nd, he's definitely going to transfer on into round number 2 for our qualifying sessions. And I do believe times are going to be finalized here. And that is the case, ladies and gentlemen. Your top 24 is going to be Gundillo, Eric Blaze, Rogel Dorn, third quickest, then Kyle Craven, Mercedes Davis, Eric Monaco, then Russell Blaze, Claire Phillips, Quentin Moore, and then the 67 of Andrew Ramsey. That is your top 10, and then we'll take a look at the rest of your results and the other drivers that will move on into round number 2. That being from 11th on down, that being Munsell, Michael Davis, Emily Anderson, Terry Walker, Wyatt Walker, Ryan Davis, Jerry Rose, Avery Alford, Sebastian Vaughn, Val Moscow, Alex Sanvitali, Tanner Parton, Michael DeFeo, and Alex Bonsignor holds on to the final transfer spot by at least 19 one-thousandths of a second over CG Holt. Everybody from 25th on down, this is exactly where they will be starting for tonight's AAA Texas 400. But ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we'll have round number 2 all prepared for you guys, so don't go away. We'll be right back in just a few short minutes. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready for round number 2 of NOS Energy Cup Series qualifying from here at the Texas World Speedway. We now know our fastest 24 that have made it to this point. Now it's time to get ready to figure out who will be our fastest 12 that will move on into our final round of today. Rather, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, but cars are just spawning on the racetrack right now, and here comes Mercedes Davis in the 13. Looks like she'll be the first one to exit her pit, but it will be Russell Blaze in the 29 that will be the first out off. Blaze looking to try to get his second win of the season. Actually, wait, it was Quentin Moore that was the first one out on the track. Actually, I didn't even notice that. But Quentin Moore in the 04, he managed to get his first career win just last year at the Auto Club Speedway. Now looking to try to get win number 2 of his career here tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, we have the little 250 that will be taking place over with our friends at AG the channel. That got postponed to tonight after the news that we had received back last Thursday. And out of that respect, it got postponed to tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Want to wish our friends with Alex, Nathan Stapleton, several others, the best of luck with the little 250 tonight. Of course, the Indianapolis 250 was earlier today, and that was a very great, spectacular spectacle, as always. To start things off here for round 2, Mercedes Davis with a 35.282. But these times are going to obviously vastly improve as this session goes on. And across the stripe, 35.066 here for Mercedes Davis. And then just up ahead, you got Wyatt Walker, Andrew Ramsey, Sebastian Vaughn. They're all in a little group with Quentin Moore. So I would watch this pack here to see these times potentially vastly improve. And here we go, across the stripe here for Wyatt Walker. Actually, wait. He was able to get inside of the top 12, but he's 7th quickest with a 35.166. But back here, it was Russell Blaze with a 34.986. So he is in a pretty good position right now to transfer on into the final round. His old ride was 12th, now got kicked back to 14th. It's Val Moscow, now Emily Anderson holding on to the final transfer spot. Here comes this pack with Eric Blaze, San Vitale, Michael Davis, and Ryan Gundillo. Davis now breaks into the top 12. He's holding on to the final transfer spot. Andrew Ramsey to the top of the 34.589. Now that's the fastest time we've seen all day today. There's Rogel Dorn in the 86. Being hung up around the outside of this single car tandem. Wyatt Walker to the top of the board, 34.537. I stand corrected. Man, we're just seeing the fast times just suddenly come about here in round number 2 of this session. And ladies and gentlemen, I was going to talk about Rogel Dorn. He comes into this race with 98 points. The only other driver that has yet to break into the triple digits is Roberto Crown Jr. Right now, he is 95. He has 95 points to his name. Unfortunately, I do believe he might have made it into this round. I haven't seen him. Actually, no, he did not make it into this round. So I do stand corrected here, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize. A little bit of a error on my part, but Roberto Crown Jr. will be starting 40th tonight. He also won the Indianapolis 250 earlier today. Again, big congratulations to him. We'll be talking about that tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on Twitch. Wyatt Walker still at the top of the board with Andrew Ramsey in 2nd, Sebastian Vaughn 3rd, Quentin Moore in 4th, Mercedes Davis, then Russell Blaze, Jerry Rose, Claire Phillips, Michael DeFeo, Eric Blaze. That's your top 10. Then Alex Sanvitali and Michael Davis. That is your top 12 that we move on into the final round. And that's probably how things are going to look here for the next 3 minutes and 37 seconds and counting. This is where all the fastest of the fast have been coming from in this pack right here. Of course, Wyatt Walker looking to try to continue the momentum from last night, especially, and even the last couple of weeks here for Walker Family Motorsports, trying to carry that momentum from the Xfinity side over to the Cup side. And 4 wide, Russell Blaze takes it downstairs on Vaughn, Ramsey, and Emily Anderson. Anderson backs out of that one pretty wisely. Definitely relying on that veteran experience for Emily Anderson. But Russell Blaze now third with a 34.568. And then Vaughn in fourth. Quentin Moore, your top 5 with 2.5 minutes remaining. Josiah Munsell in the 15 actually breaks in to the top 12 with a 34.841. So now that puts San Vitale on the bubble spot, with Michael Davis on the outside looking in. Well, man, Kyle Craven in the 28 managed to make it on here to round number 2. But he goes from top 5 in round 1 to looks like starting 20th here for to conclude round number 2. Closing in on 90 seconds remaining. 3 wide in front of our defending champion, Monaco. It's to the inside of Rose and Avery Alford. He also competed in the Indianapolis 250 earlier today. A good amount of our NOS Energy Cups drivers competed in the Indianapolis 250 earlier today. And every single one of them did a pretty fantastic job, if I may say. Now looking to try to definitely put on a good show here for tonight. Alford takes it to pit road with just 1 minute to go. Right now, he would be starting 23rd in the number 23 machine. How ironic. Car 23 would be starting P23. Tanner Parton also not faring too well here in this session. 24th quickest right now. 35.712 for the Mobile 1 machine. Improves a little bit. 195 there for Parton. Now jumps up to 3rd or 23rd. But definitely not going to be enough to transfer on into the final round. Yeah, this is just a huge wad of cars up here, and this is, of course, where all the fast times have been coming from. And I do believe we're going to have some added time added, or times are going to be finalized. Yep, time has been added, so there's going to be 34 more seconds. That way these drivers can put down one more lap and try to put together a last-ditch effort to try to get inside of the top 12. Eric Blaze now on the outside looking in. And inside of the top 10. I don't think I've seen too much change. And in the top 12, I don't think there's going to be a lot of change in there either. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is now official. Oh, wait a minute. Claire Phillips at the last second got bumped to the bubble spot. And Terry Walker, 10th quickest, he gets in at the very last second. Oh my goodness, I don't even believe it. He will move on along with his son Wyatt. Andrew Mercedes Davis, Michael DeFeo, Eric Monaco, Jerry Rose, Josiah Munsell, and Claire Phillips. That is the company that Terry Walker has just put himself in. And as for everybody else from 13th on down, that is where they will be starting. Oh my goodness gracious. That was a close one there for Terry Walker. He barely, just barely. It's like the last. I don't even. It's like the buzzer. It's like basketball, where the basketball player manages to score the winning points at the buzzer. That is exactly what just happened here with Terry Walker getting inside of the top 10, and he will be contending for the pole in tonight's AAA Texas 400. When we come back, we'll have our final round set and ready to go. Who will win the pole for the 10th inning of the NOS Energy Cup Series? Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to this point. Your top 12 drivers, the final 12 that will be going for the pole here for our 10th race of the season for the NOS Energy Cup Series. A lot of the pit boxes are pretty much all pretty far apart from one another. But my goodness gracious, we have made it to this point. Who is going to be the first to break off and start making their way onto the racetrack? It's going to be Josiah Munsell. He peels off from his pit stall, making that long trip down pit road. And he's going to be the first one to hit the racetrack out of these 12 cars to start. Qualifying from here at Texas World. Not too far behind him was Claire Phillips in the 5. She's making her way out. Russell Blaze now coming out on the racetrack. There's Terry Walker in the 48. He's coming out. The 54, Sebastian Vaughn, Jerry Rose, and all the rest of these other cars. Now Wyatt Walker making his way out onto the racetrack. He was the fastest in round number 2. Let's see if he can back it up by being the fastest here in this final round and win the pole for tonight's race here at the Texas World Speedway. Munsell, of course, some of these pit boxes were behind the start-finish line, so that's why we're seeing a lot of these unofficial times. At 51:30 there for Sebastian Vaughn, so of course that's unofficial. But on the clock is Josiah Munsell. He crosses the start-finish line to start us off with a 35.663. Claire Phillips to the top of the 35.579. Now drafting off of the 13 of Mercedes Davis. Davis has been pretty consistent all year so far, and it's actually been working to her benefit. She's been inside of the top 10 in the point standings as of recently for the last few weeks, and I think it would be pretty impressive to see this number 13 go to victory lane here tonight. They've been pretty fast and pretty much been a dark horse all year so far, and now they're at the top of the board there with Mercedes Davis and Claire Phillips both. A 34.982 for Phillips and a 407, a 35.407 for Mercedes Davis here in the 13. As they're side by side through turns 3 and 4. Phillips now jumps up in front of the 13 of Davis. Munsell to the top with a 34.855, drafting off of Michael DeFeo and also the 31 of Eric Monaco. Looks like Munsell actually, I think he might be pretty satisfied with what he's got for right now, so he's going to take that car down to pit road and try to survey what else they can improve on the number 15 machine. Davis to third with a 927. Michael DeFeo right now second with a 34.912. He'd be starting outside pole here for tonight. And man, this one could be kind of interesting. 2 part-time cars leading the field to the green flag. I don't think it would be the first time, but man, I think it'd be the first time this year specifically, but in general, I think it has happened before. They come off of 2. Down the back straightaway they go with Monaco and DeFeo. Let's see if he can improve his time here. Wyatt Walker to second with a 34.920. Wyatt Walker in the 19 to the second position. But we're focusing here on Michael DeFeo. It's quickest. 34.788 for Michael DeFeo. That's enough to put him on top with less than 5 minutes to go here in this session. Now let's turn our attention over here to Wyatt Walker, drafting with Sebastian Vaughn. Second quickest yet again, 34.826. Sebastian Vaughn himself currently 7th with a 34.989. Now these times for DeFeo and Walker I think would be a little bit quicker. However, the problem is they don't have a third car behind them where either of these guys, Walker or DeFeo, can just kind of drag the brake and kind of lack back a little bit from the car in front of them and rely on that huge push that they get from the third car behind them to absolutely skyrocket and pull up to the back bumper of the guy in front of them. They don't have that 3-car sort of pack, if you will. But my oh my, would it be interesting if that actually happened. Less than 3 minutes to go. You also have to factor in too is that with only 12 cars on the racetrack, it is a little bit more difficult to see packs of more than just 2 cars. But Wyatt Walker, Michael DeFeo, that would be your front row here for tonight. With less than 3 minutes remaining. 3 minutes to go now at this particular point. Sebastian Vaughn got a really good run on Michael DeFeo. Let's see what it's going to look like. Fourth quickest, 34.904 for Sebastian Vaughn. Definitely a good top 5 starting position for the 54 team. Your top 10 looks like this as of right now with 2.5 minutes to go. Of course, DeFeo, top of the board, 34.788. Then it's Wyatt Walker, 34.815. Josiah Munso with his 8.55. Then Sebastian Vaughn with a 9.04. Monaco with a 9.19. 9.27 for Mercedes Davis. A 9.82 for Claire Phillips. A 9.89 for Jerry Rose. A 35.331 for Andrew Ramsey. And completing your top 10 with a 35.512 is Terry Walker. Still thinking about that that buzzer, sort of that buzzer lap time that Terry Walker put down just as times were getting finalized. He managed to score that buzzer lap time to put him in to this round. And that's exactly where he is right now. I mean, he was 10th when we concluded round 2. He's 10th right now. And still a pretty good, it would be a pretty good starting position here for the 48 team. So I'm very much ecstatic and looking forward to what the performance is going to look like for Terry Walker. Russell Blaze actually just jumped up to the 10th spot with a 35.510. So he'd be starting inside of the top 10. With now 1 minute to go. Terry Walker on pit road. Now Quentin Moore jumps up to 10th with a 35.510. So that 10th spot is being traded amongst 3 different drivers as if they're all trading Pokemon cards right now. 30 seconds to go. And across the stripe now for DeFeo. Moore will improve his time with a 35.125 in the 04, but Michael DeFeo not able to improve on his lap time. Munsell looks like he's going to abort and come to pit road yet again. 34 seconds have been added. These drivers have enough time to put down one more lap. I'm not sure if it'll be enough time for Wyatt Walker here because he and Vaughn just crossed the start-finish line just as we got those final 34 seconds added. He's going to make his way through turn number 4 now, but I don't think it's going to be enough time. They're just barely going to make it to the line. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Your pole position, your pole winner will be Michael DeFeo. He will lead the field of the green flag alongside Wyatt Walker. He gave it his best shot there. Coming to the line just wasn't enough. But he will have to settle for an outside starting pole position. In row 2, it will be Josiah Munsell and Eric Monaco. Row 3 will see Jerry Rose and Sebastian Vaughn. Row 4 will be Mercedes Davis and Claire Phillips. Row 5 will be Quentin Moore and Russell Blaze. And completing your top 12 will be Andrew Ramsey and Terry Walker. Man, oh man, what great qualifying festivities here at the Texas World Speedway. And ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude our qualifying festivities here. I want to thank you guys a lot for watching here tonight or today. If you're watching this, obviously on YouTube, because we're streaming here on YouTube. But if you guys like this, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to consider subscribing in order to keep up with all the WRLA content. Will be posted all throughout 2026. And coming up, I think not too long from now, will be at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will see the full race replay for the Rowdy Nation 200, our 5th race of the year for the Menards Truck Series. And then following that at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the full race replay for the Xfinity race from here at Texas World. And then tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on Twitch, you will see the AAA Texas 400 from here at the Texas World Speedway. 100 laps around this 2-mile facility. It's going to be a very fun one, and we're hoping that you guys can tune in to see that spectacle. And congratulations to Michael DeFeo on winning the pole here for tonight. And congratulations to Wyatt Walker for starting in second. They will lead the field with the green flag for tonight's race. Have yourselves a fantastic weekend, everybody. Take care, stay safe, and we will see you all right back here. We'll see you all over on Twitch, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for our 10th race of the season at Texas World.
This WRLA telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without any authorized written consent of 11 Broadcasting. WRLA would like to thank all of our loyal fans for their continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.